Don't do that. Stop it.
It does!
Oh dear. Help! Help! Someone! Help! Put me down!
Oscar? Bet you can't catch it! Don't you dare! Put it down! Right now! All right, then. Oscar! Are you all right?
I had a bit of a bumpy ride, but I am glad to see you, Kate Walker.
Oscar. Oh, I've missed you so much.
I say, this display of emotion is most unreasonable, Kate Walker. I do hope you don't plan such profusion every time I change bodies.
It's just that I've been worrying about you. Where were you, Oscar?
Well, the mechanical instinct of my host took me for a ride, all across town. It took me the whole night to tame it, and that's when I bumped into those little rascals.
Yeah, lucky I was in the area, huh?
Quite. So, Kate Walker, what has happened since we parted at the Balaton River?
Maybe we should just sit down for a second, Oscar. This might take a while. And that's when Demoiselle Lenny gave me the address of the music academy in this neighborhood.
I see, Kate Walker.
You must think I'm crazy, huh? Running after that girl, Dana, who must have died ages ago.
Well, Kate Walker, you know I have difficulty understanding illogical thought patterns. But in the end, what I do understand is that you need to find her. Is that correct, Kate Walker?
Yes, that is correct, Oscar. I'm glad you're taking it so well.
I don't see any fundamental difference between crossing Europe in search of mammoths, traveling on ostriches in an irradiated zone, or following your double. These are not things an automaton such as I take into consideration.
Any other thoughts, Oscar?
Well, I guess I could ask you where we are heading, but truth be told, it doesn't really matter. I will follow you wherever you lead, and for as long as you require my services, Kate Walker. That's what an automaton does.
Thank you, Oscar.
Oh dear, I hope you're not going to become physical, are you?
No, I was just going to give you a pat on the back.
I would rather you refrain from having such thoughts. I am not a dog, you know. Whatever next?
Anyway, we'd better get going, Oscar, and you'd better keep out of sight.
Oh dear, I don't suppose I have any choice. Is it really necessary for me to be shut up in here, Kate Walker?
Sorry, Oscar, but I don't want to run the risk of losing you again. Victims of the genocide committed by the fascists during the Second World War. Oh, so many deaths. I hope Dana made it through. I only know Dana as a waitress at the refuge, and yet everything seems to fit with her here. Not hard to imagine her coming here to the music academy to study. And who knows, maybe Leon waited for her outside one day as a surprise after returning from his Baltayar expedition. Strange. I can't open it like this. It looks like it's been mechanically sealed. All these letters. They look like letters of formal notice. They probably haven't been paying the bills for some time. So that's the famous Vaughan Music Academy? It's not what I was expecting. It looks like the rector is desperate to reduce the costs of running the academy. Guten Tag!
What now? If you're from the council, you can come back when I'm not so busy.
Oh, sorry, you startled me.
So, now what do you want, council minion?
I'm not from the council. I'm just a visitor here. I came because I was hoping to look at the file of a student from the 1930s.
Oh. I'm sorry, It's just that I haven't time for digging up old files from 70 years ago. I have way too much to do here, you understand.
I can tell you're a little overwhelmed. Where's the rest of the staff? Or maybe a student could show me.
You are standing in front of the rector, and the only employee of this academy. My name is Maximilian Mahler, and it falls upon me to manage everything on the premises. The maintenance, the archiving, and the lot before we close next month. So, if you don't mind...
I'm very sorry to hear that the Academy is closing, and I can see you're extremely busy, but I've come such a long way to see it. I'd be so grateful if you could locate it. It's really important to me.
And so is this place important to me, too. And I would love to hear the mechanical orchestra play one last time before the Academy closes. But, alas, I can't, can I? Unless,
Unless what?
well, you know.
All right, then. So if I get the mechanical orchestra going, you'll get me that file, right?
Oh, of course, Fraulein. Of course.
Okay, I'll give it a try. Believe it or not, I have seen mechanisms like the one on the square before.
Well, in that case, I promise to give you the file in return for your services.
Thanks.
But I must warn you that the square has undergone some transformations over the years, and some parts of the mechanism may be difficult to get to.
Don't worry, I'll make myself thin and slide between the cracks.
You'll find some of them scattered around the square, and some of the others you'll find in the clock tower. Now, if you'll excuse me for a second.
What are you...
Now, what is the name of that student you're interested in?
Rose. Dana Rose.
And what were the years she attended our illustrious academy?
In the 30s. 1937, to be precise.
Oh, and here it is. And here you will find the annual inspection reports of the mechanisms by Frau Beckmann.
Frau Beckmann?
She was the rectress of the academy during the years you spoke of. These are from 1937. You see, I have a marvelous memory regarding archives. This is why I have chosen Frau Beckmann's, because there's something in here regarding that Edna Droz you spoke of.
Dana Rose.
Quite. You will also find some sheet music with annotations. This is the Hymn of Wagen, which you must play on the piano on the square in order to activate the Orchestra of Automatons. Once you have fixed the mechanisms, of course. All right then, here you go. What are you waiting for?
This sheet music corresponds to the piano part for the Hymn of Wagen. Someone's added annotations. They could help me play the hymn on the piano on the square, like the rector asked me to. I wonder what it's supposed to represent. The report that the rectoress of the academy filled in with the help of Dana back in the 30s. According to the present rector, I should find all the information I need to repair the mechanisms on the square. Music Academy Inspection Report, October 12, 1937.
Today, I was due to inspect the musical mechanisms that enable students to give a public display of their talent and enable us to showcase the quality of our teaching to the people of our beautiful town. Like every year, I needed a volunteer from our students to help me during the inspection. And this year's choice was obvious.
I'm fine, really.
Well, you're looking off color, darling, and on edge.
No, it's just that I haven't heard from Leon since he left with the Origin expedition from Kantar. And also,
Well, we've got company. You'll tell me later, Dana, darling. Meantime, be good and stay safe.
You too, Yunta.
Is everything all right? You look under the weather. We don't want one of our best and brightest to fall ill now, do we?
I'm just a little worried, that's all. About a friend who has left on a long voyage.
And who was that lady?
Just a friend I met this summer.
You do keep some surprising company, Fraulein Rose. Anyway, I have something for you that will take your mind off things.
Oh?
Would it interest you to see the mechanisms that enabled you to perform so brilliantly here last spring?
That would be wonderful.
Good. Come and join me at the kiosk when you have a moment. But don't be too long, though. Come and see, Fraulein.
Incredible.
Isn't it just? You see these flags? Each mechanism housing for each musical automaton on the square is represented by one of these flags.
Fascinating.
Today is the day they are being serviced. Each mechanism has been inspected by an Academy maintenance man. In theory, they're all functional. But if you like, you can go and see these maintenance men on my behalf and fetch back their respective reports. You would be doing me a big favor, as I have to inspect the piano in the kiosk. And also, it will give you a chance to take a peek at each of the automaton mechanisms.
Thank you. I'd be delighted.
Now, take this. You'll need it to open the maintenance room that leads to the most impressive mechanism of all, that of the clock tower.
Thank you, Frau Beckmann.
Do you have any questions before you go?
Do you know who built the mechanical orchestra? My father told me it didn't exist when he was young.
They were built by a strange young French inventor by the name of Vorarlberg some years ago. From what I heard, he was visiting Wagen while en route to the east, just after the huge fire that destroyed the town. He was moved by the legend of Vera Schönberg, that virtuoso who died in the fire. So he offered his talents to rebuild the city and create the mechanical orchestra.
What happened to Vera Schönberg? My mother always says it's the saddest story.
And she's right. You probably know that Vera Schönberg was Wagen's most famous musician at the beginning of the century. But her legend was truly born the night she performed a cello concerto, right here on the square. It was also the night of the worst fire in Wagen's modern history.
And Frau Schönberg, she died in the fire, right?
She did. As well as all the other musicians and the entire audience. They were surrounded by flames, trapped on this square.
How dreadful.
Dreadful indeed. But according to the legend, Vera Schönberg kept playing Wagen's hymn until the very end. She understood they were all doomed to die, and her music brought them peace of mind during their last moments. This automaton you played with last spring was created in her image as a final tribute.
I had no idea.
Well, now you know all about the legend of Verischonberg. Was there something else, Fräulein Rose?
When the mechanical orchestra played along with me last spring, it was incredible. But how does it manage to play at the same tempo as the piano? It was almost like in a dream.
Oh, it wasn't dream work, Fräulein, but clockwork. The piano is connected to the mechanism that you are going to inspect, and the hymn of Wagen played on the keys. That's what sets the rhythm and the intensity of the performance, and that's what triggers everything else.
I'll go and see the maintenance team.
Good. Thank you, Fräulein.
A part of the mechanism was damaged, but I changed it. You can tell Frau Beckmann everything's in order now.
Wow, I would hate to be the one who must tune this. What is this? What is this?
Hey, careful what you're doing here, right? Don't go and injure yourself or damage any of the material. Everything's fine upstairs. No need to return.
That elevator Dana tried to take, it leads to the clock tower. We need to find it, Oscar.
I just come down from the tower. You can tell Frau Beckmann everything's in order up there. The mechanism's in perfect condition.
Looks like the rector was right, Oscar. I should be able to find the mechanisms he wants me to repair by following the circuit Dana described in the report.
They would still need to be accessible to us today, Kate Walker.
Glad to see you haven't lost any of your legendary optimism, my dear Oscar.